Hello, everyone. How are you? I am Violet Lee, your Tai Chi examiner. Many of you know me because the article I have written. Yes, I have written more than 800 articles in the last 16 years. Yes, it's quite a long time. And many people ask me, say, how did you find all those interesting stories to write about? Well, first of all, I keep myself very, very busy. I'm active and I'm trying to find out what's going on in the world, and so then I can find interesting stories. But I also want to thank many of my friends and even my readers, and they ask me questions or they provide me with story leads. And so I was able to follow through and write articles about those stories. And today is a very unique situation. The reason I'm interviewing this fabulous doctor and also instructor, and it's from an article I wrote about a few months, well, a couple months ago. I wrote a series of articles about Dr. John Painter, who practiced the Lee family of the healing art and martial art as well. And so one of the feedback I got from the reader regarding the article is Todd, and he lives in New York, and he's shared his story, said he has been practicing and the Nine Dragon system that Dr. John Painter has been teaching and promoting. And first, he was learning from Sifu Bronwen Nishikawa, and then in North Carolina. And he studied with her for a few years, and he found that he was really benefiting from the art, both physically and also mentally, and helping with the creativity. So that's quite interesting, very nice. And then he mentioned about because of his great result, he introduced and the system to his dad, and who has some kind of issues health-wise, and have systematic arthritis, depression, and some other issues. So first, Todd just introduced his dad to watch a video, and this video was created by Sifu Nishikawa. And then because there was an amazing result immediately, so later on, his dad and studied directly with Sifu Nishikawa. So I thought that just sounds like a really interesting story, right? And then so I invited Dr. Nishikawa and to speak to us today. And let me and inviting her into the studio now. Okay, and great. And Dr. Nishikawa, if you can unmute yourself, and that would be great. Well, wonderful. Thank you so much. And now in the studio, we have Dr. Bronwen Nishikawa with us. And I call her a doctor because not because she is a medical doctor. And yes, we have a lot of people I interview with, and they have a degree in the medical field. But Dr. Nishikawa and has an amazing career, and uh, in the so-called neurobiology field, right? And so would you mind introduce yourself a little bit so we all can know you better? Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, my name's Bronwen Nishikawa, and I've always had an interest in science. I've learned from my parents. Both of them were scientists. So when I went to college, I studied biochemistry, and then continued on with to get a degree, a graduate degree in neurobiology. And initially interested in the science of pain, but transitioned to the science of nerve regeneration. But after that, I went through postdoc and also had an interest in actually business and law in terms of working with other scientists to get their discoveries out into a product to help the public. So
Well,
I didn't spend that much time in the lab, but that's been my path, and I really
that's
enjoyed that.
wonderful. You really make your knowledge and to work for us, and that's really good. So I heard that you graduated from UNC Chapel Hill, right?
Yes,
That's an
yes,
excellent school and very, very difficult to get in. And of course, today I'm inviting you here to talk. And it's not just your business career. And I think, I know, um, I don't know, maybe it's a stereotypical thinking on my part. And a lot of time people, I think people study advanced technology, especially like you, and you study the neurobiology. That's really cutting edge, you know, type of
mm,
area. And then, but you have learned the Eastern art, like the say how should I say, karate, right?
mm,
The Japanese
mhm,
karate
yeah,
system, and then Tai Chi Chuan, and for many
yes,
years, and
yes,
so I find it interesting, and people um, really appreciate the modern technology, but at the same time also value the tradition of say the Eastern art. So how did you
yes.
get interested at the first place?
Well, that's a great question. So again, it was through my parents. So I have always had an interest in the Japanese arts and ways. So I'm a fourth generation in this country. And I had just learned from my family about Japanese culture, the arts, such as ikebana, the flower arranging, as well as martial arts. And that included Aido, which is the archery, or Kendo, the sword fighting, swordsmanship, along with karate. So I was just enamored by that, along with my parents are Zen Buddhists, so I learned a lot about that as well. But I grew up in New Jersey, an area that had very few Asians at the time, so I did not have any of that opportunity to practice any of those arts until I found one dojo, a karate
Oh,
dojo
wow.
in my town. So, and it was traditional Japanese. And so when I was old enough as a teenager and could drive, I would go there and I just absolutely loved it. I love the
That's
discipline. Yeah, yeah. And I just love the movement. It was wonderful, especially at that age to be able just to pour out your energy.
that's
So,
wonderful. Yeah,
yeah. And
that's
then,
mhm.
yeah. And so then I carried that interest when I went away to college. I joined a karate club there, but it was a different style. So I just learned that style and I stuck with it all 4 years and really got a lot out of it. And I tried to continue on as I went through a postdoc or when I came back, just trying to stay active in some kind of martial art. So,
Good. So then
yeah.
you, how did you end up studying with Dr. J. Dunbar and learning
Yeah.
Qian style Tai Chi Chuan, and which is the area I'm really passionate about it. So
Mm,
tell me about it.
yes. Well, it was interesting. As much as I love karate, um, I I knew even when I was young that I was not going to do that as I got older. And by the time we came back and settled back in North Carolina, I was looking for Tai Chi Chuan. I'd always been very interested in that, the health aspects of it, the beautiful movement, the fluidity. And so we were very fortunate in our town to have Magic Tortoise Tai Chi Chuan, which was run by
Hmm.
Dr. Jane
Yeah.
Dunbar. Yes,
Yes.
yes, and he's a wonderful teacher. And then I was able to study Chen style, and I enjoyed it so much. I went on a teacher training program that
Oh,
he had
wow.
offered. Yeah, so I was
Uh-huh.
certified to teach there um, as well. So, but
But then
I've
how come later on you switch Nine Dragon and system
yes.
Baguazhang?
So Dr. J and Dr. Payne are good friends, and Dr. J would
Mhm.
invite him to workshops. And so there was a group of people at this workshop that had decided, with the help of Dr. Painter, to start a study group. And so I was very intrigued by that. And um, and so I decided, Baguazhang for me offered a lot of things in addition to what Taiki-chan had offered. And I knew it was kind of difficult to study both. So I decided to go ahead and rather than confuse my body, I would stop and do Baguazhang. And Dr. Ji was very supportive. He just wants people to continue to grow the way they are. So he's
Yeah,
very nurturing. Yeah.
yeah, that's the true martial artist, and who cares so much about the the beauty and then the value of those traditional arts, and they will not say, "Oh, you're my student. You're not allowed to study other things," and
Right.
they really embrace the art as a whole, and then so they are willing to help their students to pursue the best. So I guess for that part, and yeah, Dr. J Damba is really really nice. And I remember the very first time, and when I was referring my student to another teacher, and people said, "Whoa, how come you doing that?" I said, "Why not?" Right?
Why not?
Yeah, and so yes, that's very good. And then you studied Nine Dragon Baguazhang
I
for
I
how many
did.
years? And then you're certified to teach, right?
I am. So it's probably past 20 years now. So I think what initially attracted me to it was the footwork, the adept footwork, which is what I thought was my weakest um, point about me. Yeah. And so is everything okay?
Oh yes. And did you see anything differently? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. That's all right.
Okay, I think that your screen freeze a little bit. Okay, you're
Oh,
back to normal. So
okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So
Oh,
you started
s-
the Night Dragon
yeah.
Baguazhang and
Yes.
for more than 20 years, and then that's great. And so you, what did you actually get out of that system? And so, yes, there are certain fundamentals. I think both Tai Chi Chuan and Bagua Zhang um, uh, have in common. But there
Yes.
are certain things, as you mentioned, the footwork. And besides the footwork, what else you find it very interesting in the Bagua Zhang and
Yes. Well, in Nine Dragon, so it's not only the footwork which allows you to be more maneuverable, work your way around the room, because it was Bagua was designed against multiple attackers, right? So you have to have that sense and not be it's a moving route, so you're not stuck into the floor in one position. And
Mhm.
so I really appreciated that. Also, what I appreciated about this style was that it had both the martial, the health, and the spiritual practice, which I thought it offered all that as well. And the principles that we had talked about earlier, uh, just basic principles of structure. You have to have the foundation from which everything else can build on and work well, right? You don't have to memorize techniques if you have a sound structure, if you can breathe into using your diaphragmatic breathing, if you have we call song or not excessive tension? Can you work with that, and rather than having this creep up
Mm-hmm.
in very difficult situations? So building on those foundations and learning how to not only stand there with good structure, but then how do you start moving? How do you shift with control? How do you start walking without falling forward? And then start to turn, and then really it just kind of all builds on itself. And this Nine Dragon was just an excellent way in which it had a progression to help the student gain those skills without feeling overwhelmed. There was a plan. It wasn't kind of random. Oh, today we'll do, this or that. So I really appreciated that. I thought the instruction has been excellent, and Qigong Painter is a wonderful human being. So, and of course, the students and the teachers that he's raised are upstanding human beings as well. So it's a
Wonderful.
good culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's a good culture, that's for sure, and a good environment. I understand uh, um, Dr. Painter really emphasized so-called the martial ethics, and
Yes.
it's very big for him. And
Yes.
yes, so
In
in
fact, oh, sorry, I just wanted to say, in fact, there is a Qigong that practices the four virtues. So
oh
even that
really?
is, yes, yes, in our system. So it's really part
He
and
never
parcel.
mentioned that to me. I know
Oh my
there's a
goodness.
I know there is a qigong component in the Jiulong Baguazhang system, the Nine Dragon system, but I did not know say there is a qigong things uh, to train the Wude, and
Yes,
so
it's
are
part of the
they
health practice.
is there very complicated, a lot of movements, or not really?
No, no, because it's really more mental than the physical. So
Uh-huh.
we have a progression in the Qigong that we have that are in their system. There's ones that are extremely physical. It's just to get the movements, the range of motion. And then it starts transitioning with different Qigong to be more mental work to
Uh-huh.
affect changes in the body. So for me, I think the Wuda is
Hmm.
the most mental. And for some, it could be easier in the sense the movements associated with it are not complicated. But to make that connection, I think is the challenge to have that integrate
Yes,
into your
and
body. Yeah,
it is so I think what you said is very true, and for a lot of qigong practices, and a lot of time people compare the qigong practices with tai chi chuan. Tai chi chuan has a lot of movements, just like the fighting aspect of the Baguazhang, the Jiulong Baguazhang, right? So they're
right.
more intricate and difficult to remember, but the qigong looks easy. Actually, it's much harder because it's hard to control our mind, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, mhm, exactly. Great. And well, in Todd's message, he talked about how he was benefit from learning
Mhm.
with you, and then he introduced his dad and to watch your video, and then he mentioned that this is very interesting. It's called Spring Rain Qigong. And
Yes.
would you mind share with us what is Spring Rain Qigong? And is that something totally created by you, or it's inspired by the Nine Dragon Baguazhang, or it is part of the Nine Dragon Baguazhang?
Exactly. It is part of the Nine Dragon Baguazhang Qigong
Uh-huh.
family. And spring rain, it implies a rejuvenation. And
But
of
did you
the,
name it where it was
it was already,
always
yeah, it was
is
already called that.
oh,
Yes.
okay.
And it involves basically simple movements. Again, it's very physical. You don't have to have more mental associations with the movements. And it's a great way for a person to get started in learning some of the basic principles that they could find in other Qigong. So the idea of what we talk about structure, breath, song, relaxed vision, the mind, this general opening and closing of the joints, being able to do Chan Su Jin. So all these kind of build on each other in this video series. And you can do it seated or standing, and it
So,
can build up
so
to
in
circling.
the Nine Dragon system, it also have a Chan Si Jing, the silk reeling.
Oh yes, absolutely. That's part and parcel of it. Yes.
Wow. It's very nice. See, all the great art actually has a lot of things in common, right?
Oh yeah.
Because silk reeling is really considered the foundation of Tai Chi Chuan, especially the Qian style Tai Chi Chuan.
Mm.
So it is good, and the Night Dragon also, and has this as part of the foundation.
Oh yes.
Wonderful, wonderful, yeah.
Oh.
And you have this Spring Rain Qigong, and
Hmm.
developed. So where can people learn that, and where can
It
people
is.
find that video?
Oh yes. So it is part of the Internal Arts University run by Qigong painter, and it's available through subscription. And so once you subscribe, you have access to his entire library of not only, it's all of the Dao Chi Chun system, the Li family system. So it's not only Julong Baguazhang, it's their Tai Chi Chun, their Li family style, uh, Xingyi Chun, their Qigong as well. And so that within the Qigong school, that's where the video series is. So it's a series of lessons that a person can start from the very basics of sitting all the way to circling.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
for some of you, if you're not familiar with the terminologies used in the martial art or healing art world, and um, Dr. Nishikawa was saying, 施工 painter, and 施工 is like a title or a
Mm.
respective way to address someone. So 施工 is like equivalent to a teacher or a master, right? And it's very true, and Dr. Painter definitely deserves that title. So it's 施工 Painter, and his personal name is Jiang.
Yes.
John Biff Painter. Yeah, so it's very good, and you have also had a very good success, as far as I know of, and training seniors, and to improve their balance, and then is can you address that a little bit, and how it looks like? Mhm.
Oh, yes. So again, it applies the basic principles that we learn in martial and Qigong, and it takes them through the basics of that. And really, the emphasis is for the seniors to learn how to control their momentum. And apparently, this is what I learned, falls, which are a big concern among seniors, doesn't typically happen with trips and stumbles. It happens when they lose um, weight shift, at the incorrect weight shift. So their center is no longer over their base of support. So it's really,
Can you show what do you mean by the weight shift and center of gravity, things like that? Or do you mind? Uh, or do you? I'm sorry, I'm
oh,
a very
okay.
spontaneous person when I thought about that. So I did not. How should I tell you in advance that? But if it's too much trouble for
No,
you right now,
that's okay.
it's okay. We don't have
I
to
should
do
have
it.
I should have dressed up a little nicer. But
I'm
so
sorry.
oh no, that's okay. So weight shift, if a person is not having their center of mass over their base of support, which is the legs, they may be falling forward
I see.
to initiate a walk versus carrying this with them as they're transitioning, they're shifting to a walk. Or the same thing.
Wonderful,
Yeah. Okay.
wonderful. I'm glad that you talk. We talk about this because I have worked in for many senior centers before, teach
Ah,
Tai Chi there, and I see a lot of seniors when they in the hallway, not my student, but a lot of seniors, they tend to lean forward because they are so afraid to fall. They tends to lean forward. Actually,
yes,
it makes things worse for them, right? And because the center of gravity is no longer uh, in between the legs. So,
exactly.
so I think
Exactly.
that's very very good. And you have taught this system to many seniors, right? And can you talk about the results? If there's any measurable results, you can talk about it.
Oh, sure. So, there's a Center for Disease Control, the CDC,
Mhm.
has a program called STEADY, which is an acronym for Stopping Elderly Accidents, Death, and Injury. They
Oh,
have,
okay.
yeah, they have 3 tests that can be done at home for a
Mm-hmm.
person to assess their risk of falling. So we use those tests as a metric for their balance and stability. And so those are, there's a called a timed up and go, where it assesses how the person gets up off of a chair. These are all transitions, getting up off a chair, standing up, walking maybe 10 feet, turning around back to the chair and sitting down. How does that look? How long do they take? Do they stumble? Do they shuffle? Do they need their arms? That kind of thing. The next one is a 30-second chair stand assessment, and it assesses the strike length, leg strength of how quickly a person can go from a seated to a full standing position and back down. So that's a repetition. And so based on an age group, there's a
Mm-hmm.
certain number of repetitions. That's an average that a
Mm-hmm.
person, males have a different number than females, should be able to do within a certain amount of time, 30-second time. And if it's a lot lower, then that's another indicator of a risk for falling because they don't have the leg strength. And then the last one is a 4-stage balance test where there's a progression where the person works up to standing on one leg and tries to do each position for at least 10 seconds. So those are really good metrics that we start off with just to see how what a baseline is, and then do our Bagua for balance work. And then eventually we'll come back and circle back and do those assessments again. So the progress is really based very on the individual. Um, the beauty, I think, of Baguazhang is, like I said, it is the footwork, the maneuverability. That really means it's a challenge to the vestibular and visual system because they're not just moving, a person's not moving just linearly, right? They have to start moving their head to gauge where they are in space as they work around the room. So we will not jump into that. We really start with the fundamentals, making sure that your structure, you are aligned with gravity. Can you breathe well?
Mm-hmm.
Can you have song? Then we start working with the shifting. Can you control your momentum? And in just side shifting, front and back, can you add that to a linear walk, a progression? Can we add our
Mm-hmm.
arms? Can we add a head turn? Or is it on block with the torso?
Mm-hmm.
So all these are a progression, and some people deal with vertigo, so we back off and try other things. But um, I think it's just been a really great relationship to work one-on-one with the seniors and see the confidence. A lot of people self-report that they feel more confident about not falling, that they have more flexibility, they have more range of motion, they have much more leg strength now. So
So that
it's
sounds
really
like what you do. I'm not saying the same content, but it's like physical therapy in a way.
yeah, I guess so.
Except
Yeah, and
they don't get insurance coverage when they come to you, right?
no. That's a really interesting because when I was doing my research on this, I found it was physical therapy from the 1940s called the Cawthorne-Cooksey habituation physical therapy method. And they were using circle walking. And
Uh-huh.
that's what Baguazhang does. But they were using that in their therapy to help people with their balance. And so there would be a person in the middle, and then the patient would have to walk around in a circle and like catch a ball or do something. But it's still that idea of, you're constantly moving, changing direction, and you're asking your brain, your vestibular system is trying to keep track of where I am in space. Your vision keeps changing. You have to keep your posture, your structure right. So you are staying over your base of support.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Bogdan was onto something that the
Oh
physical
yeah.
therapy caught on to.
Yes, well,
Yeah.
a lot of time people they don't understand. They think, oh, okay, if they don't have a good a balance, it's because they don't have strong muscle. Yes, if they really weak in the muscle, they probably cannot stand themselves very well. But a lot of part actually is the brain, right? You study brain, so you know
Mhm.
firsthand yourself, and then I just heard you say, because the Bagua we all you were always aware where you are at, the spacious idea, and you keep turning, and then just increase the stimulus, right? So so
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
it's a very very neat way. I understand, everybody is different, but just from your experience, in general, how how frequent people should practice, and then say out of a week, and then how soon they will see some kind of improvements. Just in general, I know that everybody is
Mhm.
different. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'd like to practice every day,
You
but I
like to?
know,
How about your
people,
students? Do they like to practice
no,
every day? That's the
no,
question.
exactly. So especially for seniors, and sometimes there's a memory component and a concern that they're not remembering the sequence or whatever. So I think once a week is good. And, but you're going to continue seeing that person and meeting them where they are over a very long period of time. So it's not like 8-week program and then we're done. Um, I see a lot of, well, it just makes sense. If I see somebody 2 to 3 times a week,
Mhm.
the retention, the muscle memory is there.
Yes,
So
yes. Mhm.
yeah, yeah, even if they're not practicing on their own. So it's
Well,
just more
because when
the
they in the class with you, they are doing it. So how long
exactly.
is your class? Is half an hour, or 45
Yeah.
minutes, or an hour? How long is your class
On
normally?
average, yes, on average, it's 30 minutes of actual exercise. And then
Uh-huh.
in the beginning and the end is visiting
I see.
the relationship, and getting to know
Mm.
like, oh, how did your week go? Did you have any physical pain? How's your back? So I get to know the individual and what concerns they have physically so we can be sensitive to that if we're doing certain exercises and
Mhm.
adapt. So
So,
yeah.
so you're talking about it has to spend a period of time and to get the
Yes.
results, and unless they do, 2, 3 times a week. And do
Yeah.
people have patience for that?
I that's a great question. I think maybe it looked to me like from my experience, the younger they were, like 60s, wanting to improve their balance. They were less patient. They wanted a quicker fix. The older they got, it was like, yeah, I'm in this for the long haul. And I just enjoy the movement. I can recognize what gains I have. I certainly haven't lost any. Um, and they take the interaction. And so I don't feel as much of a sense of urgency because I'm going to keep this
Mhm.
relationship going. So I think it's been kind of, that's what I've observed with
Mhm.
age. Age, yeah.
Very, very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, sorry, I drink a lot. I live in Las Vegas. It's very hot
Yeah.
here. So, so I have to drink,
Dry.
yeah, very dry. Yes, I have yeah, rehydrate myself a lot. And this is wonderful. And so, can people also find the same information from the university about the balance
Oh,
program?
no. We I should talk to Qigong Painter about that. I guess because it wasn't it's not formally part of the system. This was something that Qigong had encouraged me to do because I came to him about this and he's like, go for it. Because it applies the principles and
Mm-hmm.
as long as it does that and it helps people. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so we offer that through our school, the local school in North Carolina.
And you
But you're
also
right.
do Zoom class, right? You also do.
That's exactly. So most of them right now, since the pandemic, has been over Zoom, one
Uh-huh.
on one. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, and I also want to believe, based on my experience, and because you are talking about the fundamentals, the body postures, all those kind of things. And if people are just looking at a video, they may think they are doing it, but they're actually not doing it well. So
Mm,
probably it requires uh, instructors and a sifu like yourself, and then to help them really make sure they do it correctly. Am
yes,
I right? Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. Well, I heard you are also developing some programs, and then and is that true? And if so, and
Yes.
what is the new thing you're working on?
So the next one is called Flying Dragon Qigong, and it's part of the Li family system. Also a Julong Baguazhang Qigong. So I described how Spring Rain was very physically oriented, and this is Flying Dragon is the next step where you start having to use your mind more to have make connections with your body, and
Mm-hmm.
you have hand postures to help you with that. So it is getting more mental, which I really like that challenge. And it is also a challenge to teach and create a video program to help people with that because you don't know what's going on inside the person. And so you
Exactly.
have,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
you have to kind of make it as descriptive as possible. Um, and so, yeah, that's been a really good challenge. So I
Wonderful.
hope, oh, I'm really interested to see once the video series comes out. This is part one. We do have a level two, which is even more advanced of Flying Dragon Qigong. But to see how it is received and how if a person went from okay, I learned Spring Rain, I'm going to try this Flying Dragon. How does this go? Yeah.
Wonderful. Congratulations. I'm
Oh, thank you.
excited to see it once it is done.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, thank you very much, Sifu
Oh,
Nishikawa, for coming to speak to us. It sounds like you're working on a lot of initiatives, and those are good. And again, thank you for your time and to meet with
oh,
us while you're busy. Well, and
thank you
everyone,
so much.
if you are interested in Dr. Nishikawa's work, and then you can find the link underneath this video, and then you can how should I say, post your questions and for me or for her, and I will try to get her to answer your question if you posted
Sure.
anything. Yeah. Okay.
Happy
Well,
to.
thank you all very much for watching this interview. Thank you, and Dr.
Thank you.
Nishikawa. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Okay.